Hey, this is Serge from Act Now or Dream On Company. Let us start today's video with the same question we had in the previous video. If you stop working today, how long do you think you can survive? Good question, right? We discovered that most people would run out of money after 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years at the most. This is incredible, unbelievable that people do not have a brighter future ahead of them even after working and saving money diligently for many years. In my previous video, we discussed and figured out how have we got in the rat race in the first place. There will be a card here at the top if you want to review this video. In a nutshell, we discovered the rat race is caused mostly by the education system, which does not teach us the following element: real financial education, neither about entrepreneurship. This implies that people are educated to become good employees only. In the video today, we will look at the problem caused by this lack of education, but mostly to the possible solution to rectify this problem. I would like to invite you to watch until the end of this video today so that you can receive some of the bonus material. Let's see why we cannot trust the education system in place today. It is fair to say that most people we know around us went to high school, at least up to grade 12, others to college, and even some to university. In fact, in Canada, many of us went to university. Some people have good jobs. They are managers, directors, or even doing research in science. They are in medicine, they are lawyers and others. But even if people are educated and perform their work well in those areas, even if people are able, for the most part, to do a basic budget to pay their bills and have some money left at the end of the month, people are still failing to have enough wealth to survive without a paycheck for few months or even a few years. Why is that? This is discouraging. It is because people have been educated to become employees. They have very limited knowledge in finance. Generally speaking, people do not even know that they are in the rat race. This is the sad part. Most of us believe the rat race is a normal path, is the right path to follow in our life. So it is unimaginable to believe they would be able to get out of this endless race for the next paycheck. So what is the problem with the rat race? Well, at least one of those is for people in the rat race, they are looking for instant gratification instead of investing for the future. According to Robert Kiyosaki, people are simply ignorant of financial concept or their implementation. We simply have no financial intelligence. We are unable to make the difference between liabilities and assets. In our society in general, when people receive a salary raise, they prefer to gratify themselves instead of investing in the future. It's normal. It is a human behavior because people have worked so hard for their money and they believe that they deserve to receive a little something for this. A bigger house, a bigger car, an expensive watch like a Rolex or a Cartier, recognized brand like Gucci, Louis Vuitton, a nice trip somewhere expensive in the world, etc. Just think about something you wish today. All of this when we can't really afford it. If you gratify yourself instead of investing, you will remain poor, stuck in the rat race forever and ever. People in general believe that their properties like car, house, and others exist mostly to display, to flash their social status. Most people think that a person driving a Lamborghini must be richer than another one driving a Honda Civic, right? Well, not that fast. A lot of people that are trying to display their social status are in fact under a massive debt load and maybe in a worse situation that you are yourself. For them, the following sentence is true. The poor are staying poor by acting rich, while the rich are staying rich by acting poor. Think about it for a few minutes. Are you trying to look richer than you are in reality? Have you ever heard of the expression inflatable neighbors? If my neighbor or my friend bought a brand new toy, like a tablet, a car, a house, I must do the same. I must have one also. And if I buy it, it must be nicer, bigger, and better. I must be better than my neighbor. Otherwise, I'm a failure. To confirm that, take a walk around your neighborhood tonight. Look at people's driveway. You will see what I mean. To prove this point, let's look at people's car. Look at some of the richest people's car recently. Steve Ballmer, CEO of Microsoft. His wealth is evaluated at $50 billion, but he does drive a $30,000 Ford Fusion hybrid. Alice Walton, heiress of Walmart fortune. Her fortune is evaluated at $54 billion, but she drives a $40,000 2006 Ford F-50 pickup. Mark Zuckerberg, the Facebook founder. His fortune is evaluated at $54 billion. But he is driving, up to recently anyway, a $30,000 Acura TS6. What about Warren Buffett, the chairman of Berkshire Hathaway conglomerate? His fortune is evaluated at $84 billion, but he does drive a $24,000 Cadillac DTS. What about Jeff Bezos, Amazon founder, the richest man in the world? His fortune is $113 billion, and he does drive a Honda car. What about Larry Page, co-founder of Google? His fortune is evaluated at $53 billion, but he drives a $23,000 Toyota Prius, and so on, and so on, and so on. I believe I made my point now. So looking at this, why is the rat race people drive more expensive cars? Keep in mind that the car you're driving is not an asset, but a liability. Let's look at Warren Buffett's house. He still lives in the house he bought in 1958 for about $31,000. In today's money, that $31,000 is about $250,000. His house is currently evaluated on the market at $672,000. Buffett is the fourth richest person in the world according to Forbes 2020. But at the opposite, in Canada, in Toronto, the average house price sold on the market today is $930,000 Canadian. And in New York, it is $810,000 US. I understand that the housing market is in a bubble right now, considering the low interest rate that we have since 2009. But keep in mind that it is in a bubble because people are buying at those crazy valuations. If there's no buyer, the housing price would go down. It's just up and up and up because we're buying. So let's look at this. Why is the people stuck in the rat race buy and live in houses that they cannot afford? Houses that the rich men of the world do not even buy. Of course, there are exceptions. Some people live in castles, but most people, the rich ones, are careful with their money. People in the rat race currently needs 2 incomes to afford their houses, their car, and so on. If one of the spouses lose her or his job, they will most likely lose that asset. Please understand that the primary home is not an asset but a liability. Also understand that it's not because you have the money to buy a house that you can really afford it, neither a car or a toy. According to Robert Kiyosaki, again, people are simply ignorant of financial concepts and their implementation. We have no financial intelligence. People buy liabilities believing that they are assets. Example of liabilities that people believe are assets? Very simple. Car, motorcycle, boats, and others. Primary residence, home or condos. They are all liabilities. Liabilities versus asset is a concept that seems to be very complicated to understand. But in fact, it's very simple. We just have difficulties to understand them or feel they are complicated because the education system has not taught us that principle. So we're living in a fantasy world. Rat race people also believe that investing is risky. They prefer to play safe, as they were educated for, by putting their money at the bank or in those fake assets. Of course, investing is risky, especially if you do not know what you are doing. Just look at what is going on in the world since the crash in March 2020. How many people have jumped to buy stock like Hertz, the renting car company, cruise line companies, airlines companies? Those companies, unless supported by the government, are ghosts. They are dead. On paper, they are bankrupt. Why people are buying them? The problem with investing is people invest in the same way that they play in casino. Oh, let's buy this and hope that I will get rich. Your job, or any other job for the matter of the fact, will most likely not get you wealthy or financially independent. Think about our first question. If you stop working today, how long do you think you can survive? We saw that only a few months or a few years. Think about your goal. The goal is to have enough wealth to stop working and to never have to worry about money again. How can we achieve that? From the paycheck you receive today, instead of acquiring liabilities, you must acquire asset. Remember, an asset is something that put money in your pocket. Like what? Businesses, stock, bonds, mutual funds, income generating real estate, IOU notes, royalty on businesses, product, and so on. Or anything that can produce an income over time. Each dollar you earn today must become your employees. Of course, you need a primary house, you need a car, a way to transport yourself, you need a computer and other toys. I don't deny that. But before going crazy, look seriously at the numbers. Is this a liability or is this an asset? When I buy something, will this generate money? By buying those things, how much more time do you think you will stay in the rat race? Here I'm not saying that you must be a minimalist or live frugally. I'm against that. If you need something, go and buy it. But before you do, think seriously on the impact on the rat race versus your retirement or living with wealth. What I'm saying is your social status does not depend on the size of your house or the price of your car, but on your wealth. So please, let's understand more about liability and asset in the next video. The rat race part 3, fake asset is a problem. Thank you so much for watching. Looking forward to see you next time. Thank you. Bye.